there you are at address position, right? Here you are at contact. What's happening there? So your lower half, right, is moving in closer to the golf ball, and as that happens, you're going to be standing up. You're trying to get that club in here and on the golf ball, okay? Now, as you do that, the hands are not going to be able to get in front of you because your lower half's getting in the way. It's standing up that you're doing, okay? So, part of that would be, you know, just how you get to the top of the backswing still a little bit, but what you need to understand is that lower half, your hips, they got to go that way on your downswing. They're going at the ball this way on your downswing right there. And that's coming from that number right there at impact. Okay, your shoulder bend, that should pretty much almost return to where you were at address position with the golf ball. Now, you're standing up further than where you were, right? So this is a starting point here to say, hey, he's too far upright, and he's getting more upright as he goes into the golf ball and hits it, right? 21's way more upright than 28. Where is this number, where should that number be at address, and where should it be when he hits the golf ball? So 41 at address, okay, you have to bend more from your upper body forward. That might entail you getting a little bit further away from the ball too, okay? The space between your hands and your body, you don't have any. There's your driver, let's get him with an iron. The space he's got between his hands and his body, now he can get back down in there. That big piece to it is, first off, bending more forward, getting further away, and then when he's coming into the golf ball and hitting it, right, there's where we should be with the tailbone versus the tailbone moving at the ball to do this.
So what's a better visual for me to think, keeping my butt out or keeping my head down or both?
Yeah, I mean, both are going to happen. Your head's going to go more down and a little bit more forward when that happens. Watch, I'm going to move this because he almost just did it. I don't know where you want it, but we'll keep it there.
It's all right. It's okay.
So, think about it this way, right? Again, where's your lower half got to go from the top of your backswing? It's got to go that way. So, this here, from this position, is going to feel like it's going there. Okay. Now, I think to get a better feel of that, because that's going to be the move that we're going to do long term. Right now, we're going to make this easier to get your hands back in front of you by actually staggering your stance. Okay. So that back right foot, you're going to drop it back. Keep going. Keep going. We want as much space as possible. The more I drop that foot back, the more the hip opens up or closes off, right? Look at this angle that I've got here. I've got somewhere to bring my hands back in front of me here. When I'm here, I can't do that. Okay. So I would go even a little bit further back than that.
The foot?
Yep. Okay. Now, make me a swing where all you're trying to do on your downswing is move the end of the grip back in front of you here. Okay.
I don't know where I'm supposed to be.
Sure. Let me show you, I guess.
Yeah.
Be an easier way of doing it. You can stand wherever you need to stand so that you can see this. So there, and then all we're going to do is make a swing and bring the end of the grip as far around us that way as possible, as quick as we can. We're not even going to worry about the club head. We're going to worry about this. Okay, so stagger the stance back. See how far back I've got it. Now all your focus is moving this fast towards the target on your downswing. Okay? Let me see that. Yep, even more, even more. See how the end of the grip is starting to get in front of you there?
Ah, I see. Okay, this is.
Yep. Okay. So I think there's a lot going on connection-wise that we need to get set up, right? But if I'm in here, this close to the golf ball, I have to turn this right hip back a lot to create that space. When I set up more here, bent more forward with my upper body, really I'm doing that from my hips a little bit too. Right? My head's going more forward, my arms are just hanging straight down and away from me. Now I've got some space to move my hands as I'm turning my hips going back. I need to double time the amount I'm turning my hips here. Because from here, and I think I've said this before in other lessons, where do your hands on your club want to go? And that's the lack of the tilt piece. So it would be very difficult for you to try and move your hands around you that way, being this close and this tall from the get-go. Versus from here, it'd be easier to continue to do the tilt and the takeaway that you're doing, and then just moving your hands around you here this way as that happens. And that's the space that you'll need. You can clearly see that on the camera. Hey, my hands are starting to get more in front of me with that. And I would go several weeks here at home just practicing with the staggered stance and literally trying to move this end of the club, the grip end, as fast as you can back in front of you towards your left thigh, towards the target faster. That was a very good practice swing. That's the start there of what we want to see. Can you do any bit faster with the grip? Just moving it faster and more in front sooner. Not bad there too. One more time. Not so bad, right? Yeah. Just one more time here, right? If I go from here to here, right, versus here to here, right? That's my lower body going back, my upper body going a little bit more forward. So it's not raising up, the head's actually getting lower to the ground. Yeah. There you go, again. Check that one out. That's the one you just did before. That is a completely different impact position. Mm-hmm. Now you're striking down on the ball versus down, back behind it with higher loft.
Yeah.
That's way different.
Is there a visual for me, like head and butt, or like should I? What
Do you have a
what should
camera
I
at home?
feel, I guess here. It's just you said the
I think the feel there is the grip. Yeah. The grip is the easiest thing that you can relate to, especially having this staggered stance like this, okay? Because now we've got the window again to bring this that way where we're going to be hitting the golf ball to. See, I think a lot of this for you was at one point there, because of where the swing path was and what was really going on with this, you tried to manage this by manually stopping your hands to get the face square again. And right now that's still happening, and it's creating
And-
your low point problem in your left.
and my left, because it shouldn't be square, it should be a little open.
Right.
The shape I'm
Right,
hitting, and
right.
when I hit it square,
Yeah.
it ends up left.
Yeah.
And if
To
I end
the,
up a little close, then way left.
to the
I
point
have
that
it.
you had made before early about trying to hit something that cuts versus something that draws, I can show you multiple tour players here striking down from inside, hitting a fade. Justin Rose being one of them. He's pretty neutral to a few degrees inside the ball. So none of them are really, there's maybe a handful there that will pull cut something, Dustin Johnson being one of them, Colin Morikawa being one of them, John Rahm from time to time. But I think majority of golfers who play on tour do not really swing out to in.
Anymore.
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah. That might be a swing thought for them to not swing too many degrees into out. And say, that's where I'm at. I need to literally think about cutting a golf ball to not hook it.
Yeah.
But they're not physically coming out to in nearly as much. If they are 1-2 degrees.
So here, I mean, obviously, people would say that now I have an open stance, I'm going to be aiming way right, but an open stance would be the feet like that, as opposed to just leaning
You have
back.
more of a closed stance is what that would be. And really, I wouldn't even bother with that piece there because honestly, your upper body is going to be doing what it needs to be doing. Again, we're trying to move the hands faster, so your upper body is going to be quicker, okay? Your upper body has to be a little bit more quick to move this part of the club. But essentially here, you know, I've told people, hey, when you're swinging down and trying to move this faster, okay, what I put analogy-wise is try and feel like you're trying to take the grip and rip it off the shaft. Like, yeah. It's got to go from this here is a wide arc back. This is great for power in the backswing, but if you return to this, look at where I'm striking the ball at, and then look at what contact. That's just high dynamic loft with the low point back, ball starting more left, curving more left, especially with the path being great here. Okay, so now you got to get this moving faster because you want the face to be more open. The more I shove my hands faster and more forward in my downswing, the more the face stays open to the right of the target line. So use that upper body and force the end of the grip to that left thigh, to that target faster, however you want to keep wording that to yourself to get what you're looking for there. That's great right there. I mean, I showed you that one player. I could show you somebody a little bit more. I mean, you could literally think and try for this. Yeah, I mean, that would be astonishing if you could get there. But where you're at right there, I mean, that's definitely better than where you're starting today at.
Yeah.
You're returning with the hands ahead. The face is definitely more open down here. And I understand, like, your concern there, because I think we talked about this last lesson, you know, afraid of the face being more open a little bit, so you
Yeah,
know.
no, but I can see the benefit because I am starting to turn it. But
Yeah,
my
yeah.
path is more times than not
Yeah.
inside out to different degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I hit it square, I'm left.
Yeah.
So I do understand that because I've been starting to think if I don't before when I was at home, you know, if I just let the club do this thing, then I'm gonna be left here.
Mhm.
I had to like think of me trying to be inside out in order to leave it open and have that beautiful. So but that's what I always had trouble with. How do I
I gave you some pieces there with OptiMotion, obviously, but you know, in doing the staggered stance drill and just moving that grip down and towards the target faster towards that left side, that's going to start to help establish at least a feel of what needs to happen there a little bit more in the swing.
Like putting that this here help me, like, because if I break, obviously it hits me, and if I push, then it won't. That'd be
Fair to a point, yeah. I would rather you try, and maybe this is what we do as we keep going, we can work a little longer here today. You try and, like, literally, here's how I would do it. If I were you, you know, firstly, I would try and do your flaw so that you know what your flaw is, right? So you're getting the hands and club to go down, but you're standing up to do it, okay? So that's got to be the opposite. We've got to actually get more this way. See how everything goes back to create some space in here? So here versus here is way different, right? Here, I need to stop. My hands aren't going to keep going towards the target and around me. From here, they're going to keep going this way. So I have to do something manually to try and get the face more square. Otherwise, I'm just going to hit big pushes out to the right, right? If I get my hands to move more in front of me, and it's easier to just, again, stagger that stance to do it now. This way it starts to give you a feel. And get my hands here and down. At least I'm changing the dynamic loft and hitting straighter shots. Shots that actually would push and draw more rather than start straight and hook or get contact hit behind the golf ball.
okay. So, the backswing looks good now. We're good there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the head. So,
Yep.
just gonna work on
Mm-hmm.
staying down.
So you'll start here, just hit a few, where all you're trying to do, even with the staggered standstill, okay, is get yourself visually seeing for like two, we'll call it like the pump drill. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before. All you're trying to do is move your hands down to the spot that you're trying to get them at. So again, just more in front of you versus back and away here. Here, and then practice once, twice, just scraping the ground in front of the golf ball. Okay, and then you reset here, up, back down to that spot and punch something out there. You're gonna hit like punch shots. Yep, even a little bit further. It's the more space you have, because this hip is this way, is better than having the hip start here and no space. See. Okay, they're not enough forward. Try it again. So there, okay. Contact looking a little bit better. At least everything's lined up. Club's not way in front of those hands. Keep going. You
Better
seem
than I
puzzled.
thought.
Yeah, yeah.
That was terrible. Oh, that's not bad. So.
Okay.
Those are good. This is starting very fast.
Watch some of your, like this one's a good example. First one and the second one, you had like 24, then 23. This guy's at 22 on the launch angle. Okay, so even that, like,
They're coming out.
yeah, it's going down more, and I think you're starting to see that because of the alignments that you start to see a little bit more of at address versus impact. Now, again, back to that original point, you know, if the handle started more towards the target in general, pushed towards the target, it's also going to get the end of the grip starting ahead of and more towards the target from the get-go. So now just knowing that, hey, I want to return to there, if not swing this part of the club faster down and towards the target when I'm actually swinging into the ball to hit it, that's going to lower my dynamic loft a lot more, which it's already started to happen. It's already going to move my low point more forward from this starting point of the handle here, right? Not only does the face already go left, but the low point's already going to be back behind the golf ball from that. So having the handle be here is the same as saying, hey, let's move the handle fast and down towards the golf ball on the downswing, doing what the punch shots that you've done. Is that making sense there?
More, yeah.
Okay.
I'll watch it again and again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can go harder and faster with your upper body and your hands on your downswing.
To do it, to try that.
Yeah, I mean, just rip through it with your upper body and your hands. Tap the ball doing what you're doing there.
Like, I mean, like
That
a
just
little
that
bit.
rehearsal of what you were just doing. Just let the ball get in the way and just tap it. Okay, keep going. Because the rehearsals are good, and then it just you maybe need to feel a little bit more of something else in there right now with it. Okay. So that one's more of a rehearsal there. All right, now this one's one when you're actually hitting. A little bit of space still, right? I think you're better there on the right. For this player, one more time, just to observe what's happening, right? When is the shaft actually parallel to the ground? At a higher point or a lower point? What do you think?
Lower.
Yeah, okay. So watching that visual then, right, as you're swinging down, hey, I gotta get the club shaft and the end of the grip more low and back in front of me before I do anything to hit into that ball, right? Watch the face of the club. It's ghosted in this shot because of the frame rate of the camera from ping here, but I think in a good way, that you can see that the club is still striking down on this golf ball the entire time, right? Whereas before, that's the after, sorry. We go all the way back to before. Find my before, there we go. Quite different look to the hands then too. Now this after video, let me bring that back up one last time. I do see the hands staying more the way that they need to. You know, there's some talk about what the wrists might be feeling or doing there too, but again, I'm just trying to have you move that grip fast. Swing a couple more here. Want to swing a couple more? For that matter, every shot that you hit with it is just like a straight push to the right, or it's push drawing, and it's finishing right at the target just a little bit. I take that all the time. Do you have like training needs at home? What do you got at home?
Which one? Yes, I know.
The impact bag? Do you have something
No
you can
impact
use for
bag.
impact bag?
No.
You could use a piece of wood if you wanted to use that, or something square, and then just rehearse coming down. Again, the end of the grip getting more here, right, and then around you faster. And now look at this. I would go and tap. So I'd set up here, and I would return with my hands further ahead of the 2x4. Yeah, and that's what I see you practicing more of. I think it's, hey, how do we get there with that too?
Yeah.
It's definitely better on some of these shots. Some of
Yes,
it
it
is
is
still the
funny.
same pattern, but you know, part
I
of it.
went in Temu and started getting a whole bunch of eights. I
Yeah.
got the one that hooks at the bottom, so it's the stick, so I
Yeah.
can practice that. So
Yep, yep.
I have the sleeve to keep my hands more connected.
Hmm. Yeah, if you did that one, it would help. I'm not going to use the punter. It's called the Punisher drill. Yeah, that's what it is with the alignment stick in there. I think you can move what you need to move without working on the Punisher drill, really. That's just how, you know.
Okay.
Note-wise, I know we definitely put in there, set up further, a little bit further away from the ball with the staggered stance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what else here, just with the hands maybe on the downswing, are you telling yourself to do?
Like you said, like I guess pull on the grip. Grip goes first.
Is that the actual like verbiage you're telling your conscious to do though?
No, probably just to feel like this, I guess, is what I'm trying to do. To feel the right wrist not breaking.
you could feel this, right, from the tilt, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Now, is that loose? Are your hands loose? Are your arms
When they're
loose
going
when
up?
that's happening? Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay.
But right now I'm not intentionally trying to do that because I'm trying to think about the downside.
Sure, okay, that's fair, that's
So-
fine. So here's my connecting piece and why I brought that up though, right? If you're feeling this be loose, if I just did this tiny movement and then quickly move the end of the grip towards the target as fast as I can, right? Yep, yep. Okay, now you're still gonna, again, use the staggered stance. And then just use your upper body to feel that happen when you're swinging into it. I felt way different. That launched way lower. 163. What's that launched at? 21. There you go. Yep.
But that's alright because once I get it, I know. I can hit it.
Yeah, and again, you're moving your hands so much faster, the face is gonna likely be open on a few of those, so then it's just a straight push there. Even that, I mean, if you did that before, your 24 would have been 27, 28 degrees of launch. So that's still dynamically lower than what you started out with here. Good job.
Okay.
All right, got that one in there. You're good if you want to head on out. I'm just putting some other drills in here. I'm trying to find out one drill.